The president says he will ensure that Americans who wish to travel to another state for an abortion can do so, and he will protect women's access to medications approved by the Food and Drug Administration, like contraception.
So what does all of this mean for you?
Well, we have team coverage this evening. We have Liz Crawford, who's looking into Florida's abortion laws. But first, let's go right now to Miguel Octavio, live from a rally in downtown St. Pete. And Miguel, a lot of reaction from both sides coming in today.
Well, here at Nordstrom Park, a protest just officially began by abortion rights activists. I can tell you this crowd has really grown just within the past few minutes. They have a lot of signs showing frustration and disgust over the High Court's ruling, but all day there have been emotions that have been high on both sides of this issue.
This court has failed us.
Outrage and fear for some in Tampa Bay.
We must have the freedom and the power to control our bodies and our lives. It is a fundamental human right.
Planned Parenthood in Tampa says it's afraid of the consequences that could follow.
My future is at stake. My life was just beginning.
Today's decision resurrecting painful memories for Toni Van Pelt. She had an abortion before Roe v. Wade existed.
And I knew how horrible the women in my family suffered because of the interference of the government and religion into a woman's rights.
And she fears unsafe abortions like hers will happen if more states ban or restrict the procedure. But today's decision is welcome news for others on the other side of the issue, like this group that celebrated at Nordstrom Park.
We're trying to protect the most vulnerable among us.
This is a life issue.
Charles DeMarco of New Life Solutions says his group is also pro-life.
And I would love to see when we get to a point that abortion is unthinkable.
Anti-abortion groups like his say the procedures should not happen regardless of the circumstances.
Because we do have life in the womb that is growing and has every right to life, regardless of age, size.
Anti-abortion groups say this is just the start of their movement. They hope that this decision by the Supreme Court will push more states to ban abortion. But folks like those protesting here right now at Nordstrom Park say they're afraid of what's to come after the Supreme Court's decision here today.
And so at this moment, what does this mean for families in Florida? What does it mean right now for women in Florida?
10 Tampa Bay's Liz Crawford is here now with what happens next. Liz, our state has already taken steps to limit abortions.
Governor Ron DeSantis signed a bill in April restricting most abortions after 15 weeks of pregnancy. And it's important to note, if Roe v. Wade stayed, it would not have stopped this Florida law from going into effect next Friday. After the Supreme Court ruling, the governor tweeted this, saying, quote, "By properly interpreting the Constitution, the Supreme Court has answered the prayers of millions upon millions of Americans." He went on to say Florida will continue to defend its recently enacted pro-life reforms. Come July 1st, most women in Florida won't be able to get an abortion after 15 weeks unless her life is endangered or the fetus has a fatal abnormality. So how many abortions are we looking at? Well, we got the numbers from the state. In 2021, nearly 94% of abortions were performed in the first trimester. They would not be impacted by this new ban, but there is a gray area when we get into the second trimester. A total of 4,838 abortions were performed statewide when a woman was in her second trimester. Now, out of all of those, only about 20 of them would be allowed under Florida's new law, and that's because the woman's life was at risk.
This is a crisis moment. As physicians, we're gravely concerned about our patients who will be put in harm's way because of the ruling and the law here in Florida.
Florida's 15-week ban is being challenged in court right now. Planned Parenthood alleges the law violates a person's right to privacy. A South Florida synagogue is suing the state, claiming the abortion law violates religious freedoms.